Beautiful day, Patriots. How are you? We are going to continue with our studies of America's history and the study of the American language, English language, which is witchcraft. If we think about this, if we are not able to know our true history and things are being hidden and deceived from us, then how do we even know how old the English language is? Just a thought-provoking question. So let's go ahead and do some more things about the American history and the English language, which is a witchcraft spell, which has got the world and especially America under a spell. And they do it by using words. And they hide these things in front of our face. They tell us one story, but if you mirror it, we can see a completely different story. Yeah, so let's continue with our history lessons of America. We just got done talking about Christopher Columbus, but now let's go ahead and talk about the Pilgrims, the first people that were actually landing in America. Of course, this is not a place to dispute these things. There were millions of people living in America before the first Pilgrims arrived. But our American history likes it to be just a little bit different. We're going to leave that part alone at this particular moment. What we're going to do, though, is talk about how the Pilgrims left the persecution of the king and the church and wanted to leave and come to a new land and practice a new religion. Not a new religion, but their own religion. Freedom of religion for all. And this is what brought the first people to America, the Pilgrims. And we in America now use our Declaration of Independence as a living document, right? And we, oh shoot, I kind of forgot how I was tying that in together. Well, let's skip it then. So our Pilgrims came to America and they landed at Plymouth Rock. Is that correct? We had 3 ships, which I believe I've heard rumors that that's even being taken out of the history books, not being taught in school anymore, that the Pilgrims came to America on 3 boats. But that's, again, for another time and place. But we know in our history that the first Americans that were wanting to flee religious prosecution from the king, and it was a very hard journey. The story, it's a beautiful story with tragedy. And when they arrived in America, they landed at Plymouth Rock, right? So let's go ahead and look at the word Plymouth Rock. This is the, when you, like, okay, so what was when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, you know, this is one small step for mankind, or one small step for man, but a large leap, or whatever he said, for mankind. Well, I would imagine that it would be the same thing for the Pilgrims. When they landed at Plymouth Rock, it was a big deal when they landed there. And we do have a spot that dedicates Plymouth Rock. And so let's go ahead and look at that. Plymouth Rock. And if we're going to just for a second, before we get too much into this, I mean, Plymouth Rock, Plymouth. But could that be sound like ply mouth? Like ply your mouth? Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock. And if we mirror rock, we've gone over this the last few days, so we don't have to go into the dictionary to show how that works. But if we if we mirror rock, KC stands for King's Council. Now the Pilgrims left the king's persecution and landed at a place called Plymouth Rock. And if you mirror this, the first part happens to be King's Council. Who paid for the Plymouth? Who paid for the Pilgrims? I know the story, but and if we keep on mirroring that and go to OR, right? King's Council, or I know, but it also is the abbreviation for Order Recorded, or also Official Receiver. So rock backwards could be read as the King's Council, Order Recorded. We know that the Pilgrims' journey was well recorded in American history. And if we spell rock backwards, it says the King's Council, Order Recorded. Or Official Receiver. Now, in America, we know that we use our mouth to speak and spell. Speak and spell. Speak and spell. Speak and spell. Okay, let's go a little bit further down. Now we're going to go ahead and now mirror Plymouth. Plymouth. We're going to mirror Plymouth. And we're going to do a couple different things. This is not a hat tip to anyone. This is not a hat tip to anyone other than the Holy Ghost. All glory to Jesus Christ. This gift that's been given to me has been given to me by the Holy Ghost. If I do not give all glory to Jesus Christ, this gift will be taken away from me just like this. Absolutely. It's above my pay grade. There is no hat tip to a human being alive. This hat tip goes out to Jesus Christ. All glory to Jesus Christ and the gift given to me by the Holy Ghost. Now, we also can go into the dictionary and look at HT and the abbreviation for HT, regardless if the Q community wants to use it as a hat tip, because that's a brand new word. Not hat tip. Hat tip is saying hello to people and giving recognition. But the abbreviation HT is a new abbreviation because of technology, texting. We shorten our words. Correct? Because in 1980, HT was an acronym for hat tip. Nobody would know what you meant if you just HT'd. But if we go in the dictionary, we can see that HT is an acronym for heard test. And just like in Twitter, the people that are doing these hat tips are doing hat tips to their own self. These people have multiple Twitter channels and they pretend like they are separate people, but it's really just the exact same person giving hat tips to themselves to get a herd mentality, the herd test. That's Twitter. Let's move forward. We know that America is called, that's why I was tying in the our Bill of Rights or Declaration of Independence, because we say that America is a test. It is a herd test. We're going to phonics out a little bit here. Herd test. Oh, you my. And then LP is an acronym in the dictionary for lordship. And we took ships over here from the king. LP, abbreviation, lordship. Where are we at? Ladyship, lordship. Lordship. So we took boats over to Plymouth Rock from the King's Council. Herd test. Oh, you my lordship. I know it could get bigger and better and deeper, but I just thought we would just talk about